Hey, this is a national treasure and the real world's champion, Nick Aldis. And just when you thought that every possible wrestling podcast name in the world was taken, Nate comes in with a clinch with the We Can't Wrestle podcast. Wow. All right. I would love to say that I have heard the We Can't Wrestle podcast, but until about 5 minutes ago, I was unaware that such a thing even existed. But one thing I can tell you is that based on Nate's unbelievable level of praise for me, I would go ahead and say that Nate sounds like a knowledgeable, smart, trustworthy human being, and his expertise should be lauded and appreciated by all of the listeners of the We Can't Wrestle podcast.
You're listening to the We Can't Wrestle podcast. Now it's time for our host, Nate Manson.
Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to episode 99. That's right, episode 99 of the We Can't Wrestle podcast. I'm Nate Maxon, your host, and on this week's show, as we trudge on to episode 100, I'm so proud of that, episode 100 coming up in a few weeks. But anyway, back to this one, episode 99. You never want the 99 to be ignored. This week, Aaron, Archie, Chris, Kyle, and I all sat down and had a conversation about the fact that I contend that professional wrestling is dead. Not sports entertainment. Sports entertainment is alive and well and thriving, I guess, but professional wrestling is dead, and that is my contention, and it is a great conversation. So without further ado, let's just get into it. Let's get into our conversation, my conversation, with my boys here in the We Can't Wrestle podcast about the fact that professional wrestling is dead. And it is the We Can't Wrestle podcast.
Hello, Hello, everyone. As always, everything We Can't Wrestle is fashionably late.
I love the fact that Aaron flipped off exactly on cue without rehearsal. It was beautiful.
Right.
He didn't even know.
Look at this lunchbox.
Oh, man. I got one of those.
Cool?
You sent it to me.
I know. I have mine. And guess what?
You have lunch in there, don't you?
Hold on. Hey, wait a minute. Aaron, did they draw in Hogan's hairline on that box?
Probably.
Probably. So what are we doing here tonight, Nate?
What we are doing is I am setting this up right now, sorry. We are, as Archie and I have talked about all week, I made a post after I watched the Stadium Stampede piece of shit thing that AEW put on their pay-per-view. That bad episode of Saturday Night Live. And when I posted about it, my thing was, between the Money in the Bank fiasco and that one, I finally think pro wrestling is off of life support and finally dead.
And I disagree.
And I cannot wait to discuss this. We're saying debate discussion. Archie's going to come and hit me with a steel chair like real old school wrestlers did over the head.
That's how we're ending the show.
But, and again, I want to say that is my assertion that what we knew of as pro wrestling is dead.
Nate,
Yes.
You can't.
I can't make my opening statement yet, right?
You can't make your opening statement yet because you fucking lost.
The problem is... I'm sorry, Aaron. The problem is that when Archie hits Nate with the steel chair, Nate's going to have CTE, and he's going to be standing outside of his house.
Like on himself.
I'm going to be like Vern Gagne.
Yeah, he's going to be watering his plants with his wiener and being like, it could be better.
Well, I mean, in all fairness...
He's going to strangle an old German dude.
Well, in all
Yeah,
fairness,
John.
I mean, Archie is wearing an Omega shirt, so if he's going to hit him with a chair, he'll confuse him with a blow-up doll anyway.
Jazz hands. Jazz hands.
Or he'll hit the Invisible Man, and then it won't matter.
Right. I won't know who I'm hitting yet.
But the fun part about this is Aaron, of all people, is going to be our moderator this evening.
Yes. And if
And
you've
Kyle
watched
and-
any episode in the past, you know that Aaron is possibly the last person that
I have
should
no
have been
idea what you people are
moderator.
talking about.
But I think he'll do a good job for this.
I mean, I can turn it over to somebody else.
No, I specifically. What did I
Way to
say,
moderate.
Nate, when I said I wanted to do this, my exact words were, I want Aaron to moderate, and I want Chris and Kyle here so they can watch and take sides. And I knew what I wanted, and I got it.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, I drank and I didn't make popcorn, so I feel that this is not going to live up to the full potential it could have been.
Oh,
Like,
it
out of
is.
any
I'm
show
hoping
we've
there.
ever done, this is the one I give. I give the least shit about.
The fact
Well, I
that
think
our
we all
moderator couldn't make that statement without stopping to laugh.
I think we
I'm
all do. This is
genuinely
the fun
scared.
episode. We're not really taking it that seriously. Everybody is going to, me and Nate are going to state our opinions and see where it goes from there.
And I'm
And
not
Brett-
too drunk yet, so I want to say to all the people watching right now, please interact with us.
Yes.
Send us
Yes.
your reasons why pro wrestling is it dead or is it not dead?
Brian McGraw says he'll be Mills Lane. Now he wants a good, clean fight. No chair shots or low blows. Damn it, I was
make
playing.
any promises.
No, hold on. You can't
I
be
was-
Mills Lane. He sat there and let Tyson bite the fucking ear of Holyfield,
Right.
not once but twice. He's not impartial.
Does that make
And he was in that abysmal match from Bash the Beach with Buff Bagwell and Roddy Piper. So
Just to segue away from
That
Buff
makes-
Bagwell,
is
tomorrow,
that,
Hacksaw Jim Duggan will be appearing at our virtual show at 6 p.m.
Yes.
and I don't know if you guys saw, big announcement. All of them are big announcements, but Big Sexy himself, Kevin Nash.
Next week, next Saturday.
That's huge.
June the 6th in the Virtual Asylum, the Asylum Nerd
I gotta talk to
Closet,
you about
World
that, Archie.
Championship
Don't let me
Customs.
No
Archie,
problem,
real
Chris.
quick. Do you
Yes.
have a?
So
do
you
have-
guys know
do
I
you have the
scratched
lineup?
my knee. I wasn't like.
Do I have a what?
Do you have the lineup?
Beating my
Who's
meat.
all coming up?
Yes. Actually, I do. Hold on. Let me get on my Facebook page.
I
real
actually
quick.
remember that. I remember that.
Oh my god! I thought this was going to be a debate.
There's a
All
lot
right,
of cool
so-
guys coming up. There's a lot of. I know Ricky Martin's coming up.
Kevin Nash will be the 6th, June 6th. 2 weeks after that, we will have Road Warrior Animal on the 20th. So if you watch Dark Side of the Ring and you got any questions to ask Animal about LOD or Hawk, please come on up and join us. On on June 13th, actually, the week after Nash, we're going to have Sabu. The homicidal, genocidal, suicidal Sabu.
What depresses me, all these guests, I'm a Funko collector, and
Right.
Nash is the only one with a Funko. I was
Here's
like,
the
this is
thing.
going to be,
Here's the good thing, though.
I wish I
will be
could see
back-
people's names.
He
Everybody
will be
should
back to
Facebook
see
use it.
to do merchandise signing a little later on. So this show on the 6th, he won't be signing any merchandise except for the 8x10s. But then he'll come back in about a month or so and be signing everything from shirts, pops, you name it. The 27th, we will have the Nasty Boys, Brian Knobs and Jerry Sags. The July 11th, we will have Vicky Guerrero, the wife of Eddie Guerrero, Latino Heat.
And
That's
Brian
good.
McGraw says that's his boo
Yeah, she's my boo too. She
How
actually
can
got
you see
pretty damn
people's
good
names?
looking.
But I don't see people's names.
because I'm
Because-
watching the stream on my phone.
Right. On the 18th of July, we will have
showing up as
D'Lo
users on
Brown.
mine.
Oh, that's gonna be cool.
Wait,
And then
what?
on the 20th, we will have D'Lo Brown on the 18th of July.
I did not see that on the page.
Yep, it's right here.
That's cool.
And then on the 25th, it will be a double header. We will have Bushwhacker Luke and Tugboat, or
That's
Typhoon, or the Shockmaster.
That's gonna be fun.
And
So,
he is
yeah.
an amazing, I've talked to him previously.
Fred
He's
Ottman
an
is the best guy in the world.
amazing man.
Loves his fans, loves to interact.
He
Fred
does-
Ottman is awesome.
I can attest to that. I met him in Fort Wayne a few years ago. I was just walking by and I said hi. I wasn't in line. I wasn't buying any merch or anything. That man literally just invited a random fan that stopped to say hi. I sat down with him. That man, I kid you not, just shot the shit with me for a good 20 solid minutes.
Yep.
Like he's known me forever. Didn't hesitate.
Very
didn't
personable.
He didn't push merch. He's not one of those guys.
Nope.
He just appreciates people.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And the cool thing about this,
the best way I explain to him, describe him is like he's literally like Uncle Fred.
Mm-hmm.
The cool thing about this, guys, is it's not that expensive to get into one of these things.
No.
Not like a where you have to buy, entry into
Parking.
anything else like that, and you get signed autographs from them.
And you get a few minutes to talk to them, which at a con you might get pushed away by their manager, who says, "Okay, go ahead, you're done." Here you're getting a few minutes with them. You get to talk to them. You get to ask them a couple of questions. Buff Bagwell wanted to stay with everybody 10 minutes, but we had to cut it down to 3 to 4 minutes, as not to overrun the time that we had. So we kind of felt like we were being assholes with everybody and be like, "No, you got to go." Okay, so we bring on the next person.
What's up, Jeremy? Jeremy Cotton. That's the first name I saw that wasn't Facebook.
What's up, Nate, Aaron, Otis, and Rowan? So who's Otis and who's Rowan?
I better be Otis.
I think you're Otis, and I think you're Rowan.
I'm probably Rowan because I have a beard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm not carried a big fucking spider. Get over it.
I gotta say something. Otis and Mandy Rose are the best things on SmackDown right now.
I'm still scared about that because since they fired the chick that wrote the angle, I'm just waiting for it to take a shit.
Well, they might. I have a feeling she's going to turn on him during a match and give Dolph Ziggler the briefcase, but
Exactly, it's going to take a shit because the woman who wrote and started the storyline, they got rid of. As soon as they announced that, I was like, well, the best thing on SmackDown just got flushed. Speaking of getting flushed.
I'll say, we're about 10 minutes in, guys. We've had a lot of niceties, a lot of fun stuff going on here, but let's get fucking down and dirty, guys.
It is time. Nate, you made a statement.
Listen to
OnlyFans bed.
Listen to Kyle the Hype Man. Let's get down and dirty.
Let's get down and
dirty. You made
dirty.
a statement a few days ago, and I understand part of your statement.
Ziggler's going to give her the wiggler.
The Stadium Stampede match, or whatever the hell it was called, was pretty bad. But it was no worse than the Boneyard match. It was no worse than that House of Horrors match that Bray Wyatt had with Randy Orton a couple years back.
You will find no disagreement here.
What's the Boneyard match?
The Undertaker versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania.
That's the Bone Zone match.
Yo, the Bone Zone. Okay.
I will say this. I've told Aaron about this earlier. With the Bone Zone match, at least with that, it has an excuse because unless it's going to be in front of fans, with 8,000 people, why have Undertaker risk injury and stuff?
Because it might have been his last match.
But the thing is, the Bone Zone match should have been filmed the way the Orton Edge match was.
I agree.
It was in a graveyard in the middle of nowhere. How were all the cameras knowing exactly where they're going to be? They should have been chasing them. It would have made it so much better.
And how did AJ Styles
it still would have been
Druid
shit,
power?
But it would have still been better.
How did AJ Styles get Druid power all of a sudden to bring Druids out to beat up the Undertaker? Why did the Undertaker's ponytail disappear 7 times during that match?
Because he's phenomenal.
So wait, the Undertaker's ponytail is phenomenal too?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
That's a luscious ponytail.
I guess. But listen, I agree with you. Certain matches during this whole COVID lockdown BS that we're going through have been pretty crap. The Money in the Bank match, on the other hand, I will disagree with. I actually thought that was well done for the way they had to do it. But you said that the wrestling is dead. Here's where I'll disagree with you. If it's okay, moderate.
No, this is Archie's opening statement. I can't say anything.
Well, nope.
Oh God.
Go ahead. Tell me what I got to do.
Debate when I start the fucking debate.
Okay, then go ahead. I'm following the rules.
Let's start.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Welcome, bitches. Let's go.
It's gonna be fun.
If the current wrestling product was dead,
you got 10 minutes.
Wrestling would not still be getting any ratings. There would be no 1 million, 2 million people watching on Monday and Friday nights. There'd be no 700 and 800,000 fans watching on Wednesday nights. On top of which, there are still fans tweeting, and there are still fans who care. People who are watching The Undertaker's current documentary care. Whether those are old school fans, modern day fans, or not, they care enough to still watch the product. And even though the actual theatrical part of wrestling, the real deal wrestling that we grew up watching, Hogan Warrior, Anderson and Flair beating down Sting with Ole, and the Rock and Roll Express, may not be around anymore. There is still an aspect to wrestling that brings back those old times. For instance, Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre are having a nice slow burn to their feud on Monday Night Raw. When you flip it over to SmackDown, you actually have a nice little love story going on with Otis and Mandy Rose that could lead to something very bad and go into now Otis becoming shell-shocked if Mandy Rose turns on him. The women are still getting time, and they're getting a good enough amount of time, but they're not being shoved down our throats. For wrestling to be dead, we'd be getting filler matches and jobber matches like Bobby Lashley destroying one of the Singh brothers every night of the week. And
Do they still work there?
What's that?
Do they still work there?
Yeah, but I think they're on hiatus because they live in Canada and can't fly to the United States right now.
Chris, you didn't raise your hand. Keep going, Archie.
My point is, though, we'd be seeing a resurgence of the early 80s matches on Superstars and Main Event and on Saturday night.
Chris,
Go ahead.
look at me. I'm going to tell Chris Wood, don't look at me in that tone of voice, buddy. Keep going, Archie.
Go ahead, Chris. No, go ahead, Chris.
In all fairness, you degrade and down talk those jobber matches. Those jobber matches at the time were done correctly.
No. I understand that. I agree.
And that made you believe them. Like, for example, today's modern product, Viking Experience, Raiders, War, whatever the hell they called this week. They did nothing but jobber matches 90% of their title run.
Yeah, and it was kind of crappy.
And I could give two shits about it because the second they wrestled somebody with a name, they struggled.
Right, that's
back in the 80s, those jobber matches, if they could have capitalized the jobber matches like they did then, you cared because it was still decimation, and that meant when you actually had a real match, you were invested.
Right, that's what I'm
saying. Jobber matches aren't shit now.
No, that's what I'm saying. If they were, that's what I think wrestling would become. Let's face it. If Vince wanted to, because he sees ratings are shit anyway, he could do that right now and say, okay, the Viking Raiders are going to face two young independent talents. Baron Corbin's going to beat up four guys from Indiana and all that and go straight to the main event.
Let's not talk about Indiana tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, that's not, you know what I meant. My point is, though, Vince could be putting shit on TV, and there are some matches that are delivering. In regards to AEW with that whole stadium match, it was because they wanted to use Jaguar Stadium. I think that they finally wanted to cash in on Tony Khan owning that stadium and be able to do something with it. Was it stupid? Yes. There was a few funny parts. The Matt Hardy going into the pool and being brought back into three different people. Go ahead.
Shut it down. Shut it down. That's I'm not going to say shut the fuck up. I'm going to say shut it down. That's going to be my thing. Kyle raised his hand. See, you guys started this out as a debate. It's turning. This is more like a town hall.
No, I like that they're chiming in because they're helping. Maybe they're helping our argument.
No, that's what I'm saying. So,
well, I like the town hall idea, though.
Shut it down.
Go ahead, Kyle.
Shut it down, Wood.
Here's the question. Here's the question I want to ask. Okay. Archie, we haven't heard from Nate yet. Nate, once we get to your opening
statements, will speak when I allow him to speak.
I want his.
I'll make your point.
He's been waiting his whole fucking life to say that.
Is the fact that we add in here that is pro wrestling dead or not, and to the fact that the biggest culprit is Twitter, is YouTube, is podcasts, because now we're seeing guys like Chris Jericho, who is a heel on TV, and then he goes on to his podcast, and he's a good guy. We see, wrestlers on WWE, and then they're heels, they're bad guys, and then they go on to up, down, down.
Right.
And the fact that, like, with Stone Cold Steve Austin and all these guys who have these podcasts, Jim Ross, every single person, they go on there and they go, it ain't like it used to be.
That's my whole argument here. Pro wrestling is not dead. Kayfabe is dead.
Oh, Kayfabe's been dead a while.
Yeah, but they're molesting her now out of the grave like Katie Vick.
Kayfabe Vick.
I'm gonna let Chris. I'm gonna let Chris Wood ask his question. I'm gonna let Archie answer it, and then we're gonna allow Nate
Yes.
say his point.
Okay, I'm going to kind of like piggyback onto Kyle's statement toward Archie. How because
I
he
don't
brought
want
it
to
up.
watch you piggyback Kyle.
I knew that was coming. Oh God damn it!
That's nasty.
But to further what he said, and to bring up what you said about how X amount of viewers, this and that, and people watching The Last Ride. The people watching The Last Ride, I can almost guarantee you, are the people of our generation.
True.
So how many of us are watching The Last Ride primarily because we see The Undertaker and we know it's what we remember and what we miss? So
Well-
how can you count that toward wrestling isn't dead and the new product when The Last Ride is a focus on someone that still lived past tense now, kayfabe, and he was like the last of his breed and everything else, and that's why a lot of people are watching it.
Because the Undertaker the name says it all. It's The Last Ride. He's looking for his last hurrah. This whole documentary series is going to lead him to that, and it's ending in modern product to a modern star. He's not going to lose to Shawn Michaels when the final match comes down or anybody like that. And he's doing this in order to help the older generation, the newer generation, to learn and maybe keep kayfabe alive in certain aspects.
But what I'm saying, how many of the newer generation, younger generation, are actually watching this on their own volition? It's not
Well, true.
people like
I
us
agree.
going, watch this. This is who made what you watch today.
That's
in
true.
hopes that we can try to educate the new people that don't realize what it used to be.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. And there are a lot of fans nowadays who probably have to be forced into watching things about the older generation. But in the same regard, I think there are a lot of new fans who maybe joined in during the last couple matches the Undertaker's had. Not Goldberg, obviously, but, his heyday. And can say, well, I want to find out more about him because I've never really looked him up. And this is expanding on that. If you watch Broken Skull Ranch with
Put your finger down, Kyle.
with
Yeah,
Stone
fine.
Cold, and
Don't
you
put
heard
your
those
finger down.
stories, you want to now listen to those stories in depth, because you couldn't on the Austin show. So I just think it's helping more than hurting.
All right, shut it down.
I'm
Nate, it's your turn.
Pro wrestling is dead.
Shut it down.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Expand.
Pro wrestling is dead. Sports entertainment is alive and well. That is my whole point to this. Pro wrestling doesn't exist on a national level in this country anymore on television. Sports entertainment is alive and well. The first point is, if you go back, well, let's say we're going to go back 23 years to 1997. Vince Russo won. He won. Vince Russo, at the end of the day, won. Wrestling has become what Vince Russo wanted it to be, bro. It's not professional wrestling anymore. Okay, so I watch the Stadium Stampede, and I watch sketch comedy, and not even good sketch comedy. It was bad sketch comedy. So here's the problem that I have. If I am to, and it's a problem in both major companies. It's just AEW. I'm not just picking on AEW. I'm picking on WWE too. So I'm going to use as an example. I won't even use Stadium Stampede as an example. I'll use the Money in the Bank as an example. How am I to watch that Money in the Bank match where the fucking wrestlers are running around like Looney Tunes? Wrestlers are running around like Looney Tunes. There's background music. AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan, who I am to believe want to fight each other, go into Vince McMahon's office, come out of Vince McMahon's office, and then argue like a couple of fucking school children, and then go back to fighting. Okay? That's ludicrous. And then earlier in the night, I'm supposed to believe that Drew McIntyre and his opponent are having a legitimate contest when I'm watching this cartoon in front of me. again, I don't hate the product. That was never my point. My point is that wrestling is dead, and this mutant of professional wrestling that is sports entertainment is what exists now, because you can't put the genie back in the bottle. Back in the day, I watched you brought up jobber matches, Archie. I don't like to use the word jobber. Chad Austin hates it when I do that. Squash matches.
We don't mean it in a bad way.
You brought up
talent
enhancement matches.
Right.
Here's the difference between what an enhancement match was then and what it is now. And you already know this. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. But, okay, you had a squash match with Akeem, and then you had a squash match with the Big Boss Man. Okay, the Big Boss Man and Akeem are beating enhancement talent week after week after week. So now I have a match between Akeem and the Big Boss Man, where now those two guys are stars. They're now both
He's resurrected.
They're both equal, and now I have their big blow off match, and I view them both as big talents, and I want to know who's going to win. The 50-50 booking of today also has killed professional wrestling, because nobody other than fucking Brock Lesnar ever has an advantage. No one has ever nobody's a superstar anymore. Nobody's a superstar. Kyle's raising his finger. Aaron, why don't you cut me off?
I'm going to. I was just say Jeremy Cotton goes, when can I be on one of these? Jeremy Cotton?
Never.
You're more than welcome.
Suck a dick, Jeremy.
Huh?
Suck a dick, Jeremy.
Well, I've never
Why
picked
didn't
him
Kyle
before
re-up
either.
for that?
I've never picked Cotton. I don't know.
Jeremy Cotton and I are buddies, but we love to give each other shit, so that's why.
Well, that motherfucker can be on one of these whenever he wants.
Oh man,
This is an open-ended conversation.
Kyle's like, no more people.
I'm gonna let Kyle say his point. I'm gonna let Kyle say his point. Hold on. I'm gonna let Kyle say his point. I want to point out that it's so funny to me that every time Nate talks about this shit, he brings up the Big Boss Man and Akeem. Like that's
my
your go-to feud, man.
That's my
It's
go-to.
the Boss Man and Akeem.
Because it's two really big guys.
I know, but it's so funny to me. Like Nate's like, I'm gonna make every point I have off of the Big Boss
Neither.
Man. And Akeem.
Plus the Twin Towers were fucking awesome, by the way. Twin
I
Towers.
know they were, but it just cracks my shit up. Nate's always like,
I want to interject real quick. As great as they were as a tag team, neither one of them could beat Hogan, though. They got built up to lose to Hogan.
Well, and then
Nate brings up the Big Boss Man and Akeem, and that's funny.
And then on live broadcast TV, Akeem fell out of the ring.
The ropes. So let's allow fucking
Kyle. What were you gonna say?
Let's allow Kyle to ask a stupid question. Kyle, bring your question up.
Okay, so here's my big thing. Okay, so all of us are pro wrestling fans. We've been wrestling fans since we were little kids. Yep. We can watch a match between two guys and we can suspend our disbelief. Okay, we know that Mankind isn't really a demented guy that was born in a basement. We know the Undertaker isn't really a magician that's undead.
He's not.
The problem is that now, with everything that it is, people who are coming up into the business now, how can you sit there and suspend your disbelief when you watch a Kenny Omega or a guy that I like to pick on is Orange Cassidy?
Because
it's
we don't
so
have
much
gimmicks
harder
anymore.
now to suspend your disbelief. Because that's always what the sport has been, is we know what it is. We know it's like watching a movie. But a movie doesn't spit in your a good movie doesn't spit in your face and make you feel stupid for suspending your disbelief.
Only on Pornhub and only if you ask it to.
True.
That's only on Pornhub Premium.
That's on Plus, yeah.
Yeah, Pornhub Premium.
Premium is still free thanks to quarantine.
Christopher Freilich says Twin Towers song was my jam. LOL the Slickster. That's right. The Jive Soul Bro.
Jive Soul Bro, why you always talking to the man?
I
know all the lyrics, but I'm not gonna do it.
So I was also gonna bring up Orange Cassidy as one of those little tidbits that.
But I didn't allow you to yet. Hold on. You spoke your mind, and what was your final? Well, he gave the
My-
floor to
my-
Kyle, so he gave
You
up.
gave the floor to Kyle.
Nate told me to. He was like, Kyle put his finger up. That's Kyle.
Oh,
I don't talk like that, asshat.
That's how it sounded to me. You were like, Kyle put his finger up. And I was like, fuck him. And you were like, no, Kyle put his finger up.
Chris is eating his popcorn. Did you go to Roll
No.
King?
That's food porn at
After 8
working.
o'clock, they're fucking closed.
Anyway, Nate,
Yes.
you made your comment about some stadium thing or whatever. Archie, do you want to allow Nate to finish his thoughts? Or
Yes.
okay. All right.
Unfair.
Well,
A moment with Orange Cassidy is another. And again, my contention is pro wrestling is dead. Sports entertainment is alive and thriving, but not really. Not really. It's not really alive and thriving because even though WWE and AEW are on network and cable television, they have lower ratings than they did in 1995. That is not alive and thriving to me. You've actually lost more fans than you did in 1995. But then those people aren't coming back. Lapsed fans aren't coming back because lapsed fans know now they're never going to get pro wrestling again. We're going to keep watching. We're going to keep watching because we're diehards. Okay? Aaron and Kyle are like, fuck him and his fucking opinion. We're going to keep coming back. I mean, I've said it before. I'll keep watching this till I die. And I'm always going to see something I like. It's not like there isn't anything that I don't like. But Chris, because I'm moderator now, I guess. I'm moderating
Chris,
my
go
own
ahead.
debate.
Well, I'm asking this real quick because he is gone. I want a quick debate, a subtopic debate on you guys right now. Since I brought this up, I mentioned the fact that gimmicks don't exist anymore.
That's true.
Now, I want, God, this mirror thing is fucking me up. I want Nate's and Archie's opinion.
Gimmicks are
Is-
dead because
No,
gimmicks
no,
can't
no,
really.
no, no, no.
I love Archie's sad face.
Gimmicks could be redone to today's product correctly. If they were done so, do either of you think that would aid or hinder the product?
Would hinder.
Why?
Well, because if I saw a fat guy in polka dots walk out and say, "I'm the son of the son of
No,
a
no, no,
plumber,"
no. I said done correctly in today's
no. I know
climate.
that. You want to know? Are you my honest to God feeling? Because everybody they brought in through the performance center doesn't know how to properly get a gimmick over. Everybody that AEW has are a bunch
Karrion
of
Kross
lazy
looks like
kids.
a good gimmick.
Who?
Karrion Kross plays a good
Well,
gimmick.
Karrion Kross has been doing that for 10 years in Mexico, Japan, and all over the independent
But that's
scene.
what I'm saying is he knows. That's what
He
I'm
didn't
saying.
come
If
through
it's done
developmental.
correctly. But what I'm saying
know?
is, but I'm not just saying just fresh out of the box. Like I'm saying anybody with experience and with
Well,
the
here's
proper
my
writing
thing.
staff.
If you
Would
want to
gimmicks bring
if
wrestling
you
back?
want to watch gimmick wrestling, which I happen to love, I love seeing wrestlers actually be their gimmicks. Watch NWA Power, which is on hiatus right now, but when they come back, by all means watch them. Nick Aldis is Ric Flair to the T, but in a modern day.
Mwah.
The Eddie Kingston, when he gives you that passionate promo, is a modern day Dusty Rhodes. Okay? And everybody on that show is kicking their asses in order to get over their gimmicks. Even James Storm, who's already been over as a drunk cowboy, is still trying to get his gimmick over. You want to see
And-
better gimmicks? Go to Major League Wrestling, which is on hiatus right now. They've got guys in there that have been doing this 10 years that are kicking their asses too.
And
Okay?
that's exactly what I'm getting at. Is you look at NWA, which is literally a throwback to the pro wrestling
Right.
that Nate is defending. They're
I
doing
agree.
gimmicks correctly. If Vince could hire a staff that could do something like that, would that bring pro wrestling back, or is it just?
Vince would hurt it. Vince
Well,
would
see,
look
guys,
at it
I was-
after a couple of weeks and then say, "This is shit. Go back to what we were doing."
See, guys, I didn't want to bring this up until the end,
Right.
but I was talking to Kyle about this earlier today. The only company in modern day professional wrestling that is doing modern wrestling in this environment right now properly is the NWA.
And
Right.
Because what the NWA is doing is fantastic. Put your hand down. I'm going to say my thing,
no,
and then you
I
can.
actually have a question for you though.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The NWA is doing everything correctly, and as a wrestling fan, I think all 5 of us can attest that it is an absolute true statement. The problem
I know,
is,
that's why I said it. I'm usually right.
but what I'm getting at is, do you think that they could actually score a TV deal with them doing it correctly, or is pro wrestling that dead where the general population
They can. No,
wants
they.
nothing to do with it?
I'm going to answer before Aaron does. They can. It's just Billy Corgan wants to go through YouTube first to test the market, and then sell it to a TV company by saying, "Look, here's 2 years worth of wrestling to show you how great we're doing. We've got millions of fans watching. Put us on your channel."
I'm not even saying like the last 2 seasons of NWA have been fantastic.
Yep.
Okay, and what they were leading up to was going to be good, and it was going to be a good pay-per-view, yada yada yada. What I'm talking about is in this COVID pandemic, whatever situation we have going right now, and Nate will know that I mean this. They are doing what I thought every wrestling company should do. They took they've taken their talent and not put them in front of a crowd, or
Right.
they didn't put them on live TV and have them having these matches in front of people. They've taken their talent and they've done this Carneyland thing.
Yes.
And Carneyland is fucking amazing. They've only done 2 episodes. They've only done 2 episodes that I've seen.
It's like fake reality TV. It's hysterical.
Yeah, but it's not insulting.
No, not in any way.
And it's not like, Nick Aldis versus Marty Scurll in some fucking match with music and 27 clips and all this shit.
No,
they're acknowledging the fact that these guys can't work right now, and they're accentuating the personalities of their talent in a non-wrestling wrestling environment, if that makes sense.
I agree.
Like the fact that they're giving these guys shows, they're letting, and gals, because there's girl power now they're doing, and that's fine. They're taking their talent and they're letting them accentuate their personalities and what they can do on a non-wrestling level and selling it that way. And they're still,
it's helping the characters get over.
Yeah, and they're still having the guys and gals kind of talk about their storylines, and then they're doing Superpower, where Superpower is like an hour and a half, where they're
combining matches they haven't shown and recapping everything.
Yeah. And recapping everything, like fucking Primetime Wrestling or All Star Wrestling, which is what the WWE or fucking All Elite should be doing.
I agree.
And it's not insulting. It's
and again,
not,
that's where my argument
it's not
is stemming.
stupid looking.
Pro wrestling isn't
good
dead
shit.
to an aspect. Is WWE and AEW's version of pro wrestling dead? Sure. But that's been dead. Vince calls it entertainment. AEW jumped on that bandwagon and said, we're going to be entertainment too. Because of the Young Bucks and Bullet Club, and that's fine. But companies like Major League Wrestling, NWA, New Japan, even Ring of Honor, even though it was on death's door a couple of months ago, are starting to rebuild and show people we've got talent, we've got gimmicks, and we've got matches that are going to make you want to watch. And it's not just about a promo. How long is the longest promo on NWA? 2 minutes?
Yeah. And like I said, they're doing good shit on there, and it's not insulting.
Right.
It's good stuff. And I
What's
told
up, Kyle?
Kyle, it's like my favorite name, because they have 5 shows right now, and they're going Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And Nick Aldis' show has the greatest fucking title of a show I've ever seen in my life.
What is it?
what's causing all this?
All this, yes.
That's a great fucking title, man.
Yep.
What's
But that's what
causing
I'm
all
saying.
this?
But that's what I'm saying. He's a modern day Ric Flair. Go ahead, Kyle.
All right. I want to bring this up too when Nate gets back because I want his opinion on this as well. Now, I know that it seems like I've
Nobody cares about his opinion.
I know it seems like I've been skewing more towards, Pro Wrestling Dead. So I want to kind of play the other side of that too and go with Archie as well on this. Like, okay. Oh, good. Nate's back. So I wanted to ask you this.
I was just going to say, I'm back from reloading my beers,
But
and
I've been playing-
lo and behold, pro wrestling is still dead. Okay, go ahead.
Nate, I was just telling everybody about how great fucking Carney Land is, and you need to watch it.
I'm going to. What were you going to say, Kyle?
Can everybody hear Nate? Because I can't hear him.
You can't hear me? Okay, I'm going to go out and come back in.
And Chris,
But go ahead. I can still hear you, so you can go ahead with your point.
Okay, so real
Chris
quick.
left
so
too.
What is happening?
Now can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so here's the question I want to ask because, like I said, I've been kind of skewing towards Nate with the whole Pro Wrestling's Dead. So I want to ask this question, okay? So we're looking at the fact that with pro wrestling today, we've talked about how great NWA Power is. We hear Jim Cornette talk about Smoky Mountain Wrestling, how it was, it was everything that Jim Cornette thinks is right with the business. So here's my question, you guys: if that's the case, if pro wrestling can do what it is doing, why is it that the NWA isn't where WWE is, AEW is? Is it the fact that now we are in the point where people don't want to watch pro wrestling? They want to watch sports entertainment.
No. And that's just my opinion. You make a very valid point. But
Right.
the reason I say that is I'll go back to this. All right. In 1995, Monday Night Raw still had one
Doors
point.
unlocked.
Even at its worst viewing,
Or
it
do you
still
take a
had
break?
over 1 million viewers a week. Okay.
No, we're fine.
And what, last week Raw had 800,000.
Yeah, just under a
So
million.
that's not the case. I think that what happened is to my point that what they've done is they let the genie out of the bottle and you can't put the genie back in the bottle again. That's why I said it's dead, because it can't be resuscitated. You could never do what they have done to wrestling over the past 20 years and ever bring it back to where it was, to what we liked.
But if you, I'm sorry for jumping in, but if you look at Japan pro wrestling,
Mhm.
where over there it is treated as a sport.
Mhm.
The news outlets don't act like it's a joke or it's a thing. Everything else,
They don't have gimmicks there. No one's really allowed to have like a full blown gimmick.
right? My question is, can we put the genie? I know everyone says we can't put the genie back in the bottle. I think you can. It's going
Done
to take a
properly,
lot
you
of
can.
everybody. It's going to take.
It would
the
take-
business.
It would take years of conditioning for that.
This is
As a
what I
matter of
see.
fact, every company that's on TV right now would have to go out of business and be
Not the
gone.
NWA.
Wrestling would have to be off TV for 2 years, 3 years.
No.
But I think
No.
the problem is that you look at everything that it is what it is now. Okay, let's look at, and I know this is a weird allegory, but let's look at Blockbuster.
Blockbuster.
Blockbuster was.
I love Blockbuster.
Who's Block?
I do too, but Blockbuster was the way that everyone followed what Blockbuster did. Every single-
Blockbuster.
Oh, he was saying Blockbuster. I thought he was talking about Brock Lesnar. Okay.
No.
I did too.
Or let's go.
I
with
heard
Walmart.
Blockbuster.
Let's go with Walmart or any other giant, huge, conglomerate. There's always one guy at the top, and everybody else follows behind him until somebody else comes along, like an Amazon or like Netflix, that
Mhm.
changes the way people look at things. Is the problem here in America? Everybody is following what WWE does. They think that is
Not
what
everybody,
success
but
is.
yeah, they
Yes.
are. They see it
When
as a basic
AEW
model.
When AEW started, they said we are going to be a serious sports-based, athletic-based, professional wrestling company, an
And wins
alternative
matters.
an
Wins
alternative
matter.
exactly an alternative to WWE, and then they gave me that fucking Stadium Stampede thing.
But the problem is, though, is because us as wrestling fans, not just you, me, and everybody else, but everyone around the world who watches wrestling, they are conditioned like, oh, that's what it's got to be. Because you look at Dave Meltzer, and I like Dave. Don't get me wrong, Dave, has a lot of great opinions. But the fact is that Dave is the fucking Jesus Christ of pro wrestling news. Like, if he thinks it's a 5-star match, by God, you better think it's a 5-star match.
Or don't follow him on anything, because if you disagree, he'll block you.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the problem here, is that you have these people who have no idea.
See, this is the way I look at it. In order for the WWE to succeed and put the genie back in the bottle, Vince McMahon has to go away. I'm not saying die. I'm not saying leave the company. He needs to get out from behind the gorilla position, and he needs to stop calling matches, changing shit on the fly, and saying, this is what I want because it's such good shit. No, Vince, you're 70 years old. It hasn't been good shit in 20-some-odd years. You understand? If he leaves and leaves it in the hands of guys like Triple H and guys who are working at the Performance Center, Shawn Michaels and Albert and guys who are training these young kids, they will make these wrestlers into something that they need to be, which is actual stars. Matt Riddle is a guaranteed star if Vince McMahon doesn't put his finger on him.
Okay,
Which he's already been hurt because they've already done main roster goofy comedy shit with him in NXT.
Yes, and he's pissed on Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, which pissed Vince off.
Now, so I'm assuming, since you and I are supposed to be debating here, Archie,
yes,
I'm assuming by your statement you don't agree with me that you can't put the genie back in the bottle.
I don't. I think that you can, but I think that what the problem is the, pardon my French, motherfucker who yanked the genie out of the bottle, Vince McMahon, needs to go away. Wrestling, WWE cannot succeed under Vince McMahon's reign anymore.
But now, do you agree with me that we cannot? Okay, if Vince's company, hear me out. I'm going to try to formulate this thought because I'm trying to think of if Vince's company is ultimately what has brought us to what we've gotten to.
Mm-hmm.
With Vince's company, you can't put the genie back in the bottle because, and my point to that is you can't give me pickles one day and tell me it's hamburger and then the next day. Yeah. So to that point, AEW is also no longer our savior because they have essentially turned themselves into, instead of being what they promised they would be, have turned themselves into almost a stupid parody of WWE.
Nate, let me ask you a question though. Did you honestly believe that AEW would be the savior?
I hope so.
Well, we all had hope.
And I mean, I was like, and you know how I am. I was like, oh, fuck, Kenny Omega's like higher on the hierarchy. But I was hoping that I could just get past that because I've gotten past wrestlers I hate for 40 years.
But my point is, we should have learned from past instances. For instance, WCW was going to be the change. WCW was going to be better wrestling than WWF ever put on. And for 6 years, they were great. And look what happened to them. Here comes TNA, revving to go. We're going to do 1 hour pay-per-views a week. And you're going to pay $9.99 a month. No, I'm not. And you're gonna watch us on the MSG channel. No, I'm not. And then we're going to move to Spike. And then we're going to go to... And look, now they're Impact Wrestling. And they're finally flourishing. But they may fuck up again.
Yeah, next week they're going to be on the Food Network or something.
Right.
Yeah, I'll say this. Okay. Out of the... I know I look like I'm on Ghost Hunters right now, but I had to come outside.
I'm thinking about switching to my phone to do the same. I want a cigarette. But go ahead.
The
Paranormal
egregious, like the most terrible company I've seen hasn't even been the WWE. It's been AEW. They're terrible.
Well, I mean, they haven't cracked 1 million viewers yet.
Like, I can't watch their show. I
fast forward 60% of it. I won't lie.
Like Raw or WWE, whatever. At least what they do is consistent. Like, it's consistently bad. But AEW is like schizophrenic.
Right.
Like, they have no model.
What blew my mind was that They felt
Like
Taz
when I watch
walking out with
when I
Brian
watch
Cage was gonna be
AEW, I have
everybody
no
go, "Ooh."
idea.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Look, Arn Anderson coming out and being Cody Rhodes' coach, everybody went wow because he just left the WWE. That's why we all went wow. Sean Spears coming out and go, well, guess what? I got Tully Blanchard. What made us all go, oh, well, they've got a history. But Taz walking out with Brian Cage was supposed to make us go, wow, this is amazing. No, it's Taz. It's fucking Taz. You know what I mean? You know.
In all fairness,
And here's the problem.
Yeah, no, I want to hear what Chris has to say. In all fairness, yeah.
would you still say that about Taz if Taz wasn't tarnished by what WWE did with him?
Oh, no, if it was ECW Taz, I would have been marking out.
So doesn't that kind of lean back more into what Nate was saying?
Well, hold on.
And
though.
you, respectively, Vince
screws
is
everything.
Yes. What's engraving the headstone.
But I can say the same thing of that's not the same Arn Anderson that we know. That's a 60-year-old fat man who's holding a clipboard now and coaching Cody Rhodes. That ain't the enforcer.
But we also know as true wrestling fans that that's the Arn Anderson we have to accept now because of injuries that he did.
Right. Because of
giving
wrestling.
us what we love.
Right. Exactly. I can't say the same about Taz, though. Taz went out because he decided to take WWE money and get hurt quickly and ended up being an announcer.
Well, here's the problem with Taz.
Taz is a fantastic announcer.
He's a fantastic announcer, but the problem is that anybody who has watched wrestling in the last 15 years does not
know the real
Taz
Taz.
as the ECW, badass that he was. They know him as this is the guy who is an announcer.
With Michael Cole.
I mean, think about it. Taz was the guy that wasn't 6 foot that you seen and went, that is a fucking monster. Like how people today look at Brock Lesnar. That's how people looked at Taz.
Taz created 80% of the suplexes we see people use now. Back then, it was just German and belly to belly. Now he invented 14 new ones. He trained people to be killers. The year-long wait of Taz and Sabu had the best payoff ever. It was the best match it could have ever been.
And not to mention at his height.
What is he, like 5'6", 5'7"?
For us to look at him at that time and say, what a beast.
That's what I'm saying. Like he took the staple of a true monster,
right,
and completely redefined it.
Right.
Today's wrestling fan doesn't realize that, so they have like the Archie mentality of, okay, Taz is here.
I don't know why he's with Cage anymore, because if this was an ECW Taz, I could say, okay, it's one monster with another, but he's
because Cody and that team. They look at what was, and they appreciate what was, and they look at Taz as what was.
And
they try to not look at what Vince did to Taz.
Well, then what should have happened is Taz should have walked out on Dynamite one night, gotten into a fight with somebody, gotten his ass kicked, and then been coming back with Cage to be his muscle. You don't just
can he physically do that though? Do any of us know that he can physically do that?
When he was with Aces and 8, he threw a few punches and a couple of kicks.
But how much did he even take when he was in Aces
Well, I
and
mean,
8s?
they could have soft bumped him a little bit, Chris. My point is, something. Pull him to the back and pretend beat him up. Something. It made no sense. Taz is with Brian Cage. They've never had any interaction before. Chris, you and I only met a couple of months ago because of the We Can't Wrestle podcast. But if 2 months ago, you and I would have just randomly went to a bar together, people would have been like, why are they together? You know what I mean? My point is, you can't just stick two people together and go, this is why. Cody
that's not saying much because people were saying that tonight with the three of us at the bar. So,
but my point is, people know why Cody went to Arn Anderson. Cody went to Arn Anderson because Arn Anderson had wars with Dusty. It makes sense. Sean Spears getting Tully was to counter Arn because they were tag team partners and let's go. We were best friends, so were they. It makes sense. But now here's Taz. It just doesn't make any sense right now. It might make sense later in the future, but who knows? AEW pulled a bad move there. The same way NXT is pulling a bad move by having these guys jump all these guys after the Cruiserweight tournament going on. Not everybody, NXT has its problems.
let's look at the NWO. Okay, let's imagine for just a minute that if Hulk Hogan hadn't been the third guy,
It was
it
Mabel.
worked perfectly because of the fact that Hulk Hogan was the guy that came from up north with Vince.
Right.
So it made sense. Now,
Right.
if it had been the Disco Inferno, it would have been like, what the fuck?
Right. Oh no, it's Alex Wright.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's walking, he's dancing to the ring.
Yeah.
Bobby Heenan yells, "Whose side is he on?" Who gives a fuck? What do you mean? Whose side is he on?
It comes down to believability.
Exactly.
Before-
I agree.
Before I make this point, can everybody hear me? I know sometimes we have when somebody comes back in, everybody can't hear them.
I can
What?
hear you.
Fucker. Kyle just said a word, and I was going to make this point a little bit ago, and I'm pretty sure probably Aaron cut me off, but
You'll talk when I say you can talk.
I
was just aboard the island for this moment too.
Someone check on Aaron. He might have passed out.
No, I think you went in the house.
We'll hear him snoring.
There he is.
To what you just said, Kyle, about believability, one of the points I was going to bring up about the genie and the bottle, I keep bringing that up, and the boss man and the Akeem. There was a spot, it was either late last year, early this year, and when I say pro wrestling's dead, I know we've talked about, Archie brought up some things that have happened the past few years, not just during this COVID-19 thing, and my thing about it is my contention has been it's been on life support for probably 12 to 15 years. And this finally, to me, was just the nail in the coffin. They pulled the plug. But
let's face it. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off real quick. Let's face it.
Yes,
It's been
you
on
do.
life support. It's been on life support since Stone Cold hugged Vince McMahon.
Yes.
truth. A spot, a specific spot, a Pacific spot
I can't say it either. So
that I recall just shaking my head and going, this isn't pro wrestling, was, all right, you have Pac in AEW,
Oh God.
who by all intents and purposes, his character is a badass. All right.
He's the
And
dynamite kid of his era.
and he does a fantastic job of playing that role. However, this badass, Harley Race would never have let this happen. Hardcore Holly would never have let this happen. They'd have shit on this spot in a second. This badass let Orange Cassidy, that fucking piece of shit, kick him in the shins, tap him in the shins, and he didn't just punch him in the fucking mouth. And when I saw that, I was like, this isn't pro wrestling anymore. It is sports entertainment. It is a different thing, and I don't hate it, and I don't despise it, and I'm not old man screaming at the clouds. My point is, this isn't pro wrestling anymore. It's sports entertainment. Pro wrestling, that never would have happened. He would have got punched in the mouth the first time he did it
But the sad
by
part is,
that
guys like-
character.
And can I say this? I've never seen a person yell at a cloud. I don't understand that expression.
Simpsons.
Well, let's say
Simpsons.
this.
I don't watch
is
The Simpsons.
It's like,
The
so let's say
Simpsons.
this. For every bad thing that there is, like you just said with the whole, Orange Cassidy thing, look at MJF with Marco Stunt. That was
Yeah.
how it should have been. With I keep going back to it, but the fact that Marco Stunt trying to go for a Hurricane Rana and MJF being like, get the fuck out of here.
Right.
Mhm.
Like there's glimmers
And that,
of hope.
but that only happened because he is one of the few guys, I think, left in the business that will not compromise what he is
Well,
or who
he's-
he is.
I'm just going to throw this out
is-
there. If I can throw this out there real quick, sorry not to cut you guys off, but Marco Stunt, I appreciate from the fact that the five of us were on a show that is We Can't Wrestle. The dude has pursued his dreams. He's made it and everything else. But the point of fact is, he shouldn't be there to begin with.
No.
If he's going to be, they need to make a cruiserweight or a light heavyweight.
Can he even be believable in a cruiserweight?
Yeah,
Think
because
about
he's not that much smaller than Rey Mysterio was when he first.
Okay, Chavo Guerrero was a cruiserweight. Can Marco Stunt pull shit off on
But
Chavo?
Rey Mysterio Jr. was the same size Marco Stunt is now when he debuted in WCW.
I don't think Ray was even that small.
Ray was
Like
5'5" and like
Marco-
110 pounds.
Marco literally looks
No,
like
he looks like a child. I agree.
Marco looks like a Make-A-Wish gone way too far.
Oh God! When you let Cena grant too many wishes.
And I don't want to be a dick. I'm not trying to talk down on Marco because, like I said, the dude busted his ass to get where he's at, and he's pursuing his dream. Mad props to him. But his stature in the business that he's trying to make it in, he looks like a Make-A-Wish kid wish that has gone too far.
He looks like Braun Strowman's tag team championship partner.
Nicholas?
No, because
Yes.
Nicholas was bigger than him.
Nicholas is badass. You leave Nicholas alone.
But here's the thing. Okay, we talked about Rey Mysterio just a minute ago, and Chris was talking about Rey and stuff. The difference between the two is that, like with Rey, when he beat Kevin Nash, it was by a fluke. It was by an accident. It was by something.
Oh, and Nash
small.
beat him and took his mask, so it's not like
Right.
there was a,
But-
you know what I mean?
But when
And
they
it was
had
still
one of those
believable.
times
The
he
way
was trying
Ray
to
did
get
it was still
competitive.
believable. When Ray did it, it was believable. There's nothing that Marco can do that's believable.
I
At
like
least
his
he has
feet,
Luchasaurus, though. At least he has Luchasaurus with him, though. You know, that at least he has backup. It's not just all him doing it.
I mean, Jungle Boy isn't that big, but his shit,
Hey, Jungle
look
Boy
at
is
him-
phenomenal. I don't care what you say.
I'm not knocking him at all. What I'm saying is Jungle Boy's not that big either, but when you watch Jungle Boy, when you watch Jack, you're like, this dude can fucking bring it. This dude can do it. You don't have that with Marco at all, ever. From the time he comes through that tunnel until the final bell rings, you're just sitting there. Like, to me, Marco is...
I don't think they
Orange
expect that.
Cassidy is more believable than Marco to me, if that tells you
don't-
anything.
What I think happened is with AEW, they started signing talent, and they got some good names, they got some decent names, and then they decided, you know what, we need to raid the indie companies before WWE does and takes these names away, which I don't
Then
think
where's Matt
WWE would have
Cross?
hired. Matt Cross has wrestled in he's in NWA.
He's in NWA.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying though is if we're going to go with indies, I've got 1,000 names that we can name off before you
I
give
agree
Marco
with you.
Stunt TV time.
I agree, but I think they were afraid about WWE hiring him and them not being able to use him.
I think here's the thing with WWE and AEW with NXT. Like, I go back to what Triple H said on that podcast with Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's like, look, you might come from the fucking Atlanta Falcons, and we're not going to sit here and argue whose playbook's better. When you come here, I expect you to play the playbook that I have. And I think that's the problem with AEW. You have all these guys who came from like PWG and stuff, and they're like, oh, well, it got over there. Well, great. You got over in a room full of fucking people in an armory. There's a reason why.
Dave Meltzer loved it.
Fuck Dave Meltzer. But there's only a reason why the PWG got so far into being in the armory. Because that kind of shit doesn't work on a large scale. It might be
agree.
fun for the room.
I want to before we're at an hour now, so we'll start winding down the debate. But I want to answer Chris's question he asked a while ago, and as we always do, we get off topic or we go on to a different thing, and I love it because I love this group of guys. We have a great time, and
You
the
can tell it's
conversation.
passion, not script.
Yes, and the passion is there. We have a great time. But I want to answer Chris's question a little bit ago about gimmicks. If they went back to using gimmicks, I think yes. I think that it could work if they use effective gimmicks, and they don't. The 50-50 booking kills a lot of. As an example, to Kyle alluded to it in the beginning of the show when somebody commented Otis. He said, "Oh yeah," like. That's a gimmick. The Otis is a gimmick, and look how over it is. You know,
And the thing is, and if you think about it in
I got the
WWE
gimmick of
modern
wearing those
product,
sleeves.
but what I'm getting at is like WWE modern product in all theory and probability and logicality, Otis should not be over, but he is. That's what I'm saying. If gimmicks were done correctly by the correct people who knew how to do it, would it work?
Either.
And if they would let shit just be organic.
Yeah, like
they
if
would-
they would take if they would take like the Big Boss Man and Akeem.
This is like reaching Fred Willard
So wait a
levels
minute.
of
Wait a minute.
big dollars.
You mean a white African American who's a cop?
Well, I mean, think about it. Like,
That might
we'll go
work.
to NWA
Yeah,
right
that-
now.
That might work.
The NWA, the question mark. Quite possibly
Well,
the most dated,
It's
tacky,
stupidest thing in the world. right?
asinine
Oh,
gimmick ever.
He's the ding
He
dong.
is over.
Question mark.
Right.
What? See, okay. You brought up the question mark.
I had to
Okay.
make a question mark
And-
custom. That's how
well-
much I love it.
Oh, I would buy that. I'd
should've.
pay in the 20s
Okay.
for a question mark. But like the question,
Dang.
yeah, the reason the question mark works is because guess what? It's a silly comedy gimmick in a company that's not full of silly comedy gimmicks.
Right.
Like
But
he
even then, though, it
stands
still
out,
works.
but it works because he's the only one that's doing a silly, like Aaron Stevens, and the question mark works because it's the only thing on the
It's an
show
odd couple.
that's silly.
Well, I mean,
But
Zicky
if
Dice
you
is a little
try
bit
to
silly.
promote everything as
So is
being
that why
fucking-
Otis is over? Because
I
he's the
didn't-
only genuine silly thing on the E?
No, everything on the WWE is silly. Everything.
On purpose silly. I'm
Well,
sorry.
I mean, here. Hold on. Let me here. You look
Like,
at the
I
Street
watched-
Profits and the Viking
watched.
Raiders.
I've watched Carneyland, and they did 2 segments where they were showing you, like Aaron Stevens was doing, like he was narrating segment. There was a segment where it was just like Aaron Stevens, was telling you about the country of Monrovia or whatever, and it was fantastic. Like there was Mask Island, and it was the Lake of Two Eyes, left eye, right eye, and mouth lake and nose lake, and it was funny because it's the only silly shit that's going on. But the WWE and the AEW are presenting silly, stupid shit
As legit.
across the entire show.
And most
Here's the
importantly about what you were saying is the Aaron Stevens question mark stuff is not presented. Well, it is funny, and it is presented in a way where we are to believe that these 2 guys have a cameraman and they are producing this silly thing to put onto the show for us to watch. We are not presenting it like the Money in the Bank or the Stadium Stampede, where we are to believe that all these cameras are just happening to be in the right spot. There's
Yeah, that's
background
what I'm
music.
saying.
There's, I totally see your point because comedy in wrestling can be done if done properly and look to be. It's wrestling. It's fucking fake.
I'll be back in 1 second, guys. I'll be back
Okay,
in 1 second.
we're gonna wrap up here shortly anyway. Arch.
Here's the big thing.
And it's like I told. Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's like
Hold on,
I
Aaron.
told.
Hold on, Aaron. I'm not cutting you off. Jeremy Cotton is. Jeremy Cotton commented, "Pause. Haven't asked it for some time. Nate, Aaron, how is Pops doing? He's doing good,
He's
brother.
doing great.
Thank you for asking. We appreciate that." So go ahead, Aaron. It's cool. It's cool. Go ahead.
Well, it's like I told Kyle. Like that. I don't want to go back to something that happened a long time ago, and I haven't seen. I'm gonna full disclosure. I haven't watched that goddamn Money in the Bank thing because I didn't want to watch it. But like that Boneyard match, like I wouldn't have had a problem with it. Okay, if it would have been presented as a fight,
Mm-hmm.
It's like I told Kyle. The fucking there's a match that a lot of people don't talk about. Like everybody talks about the Hell in a Cell between The Undertaker and Mankind. Okay? And that is fantastic. The Hell in a Cell, Undertaker, Mankind, Hell in a Cell is fantastic.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. Undertaker, Mankind, Hell in a Cell, fucking fantastic. Great to watch. Okay? But I've tried telling people this. If they would have presented like the Boneyard match as they presented the Boiler Room Brawl, I'd have no problem with it. Like, we're going to take The Undertaker, we're going to take AJ Styles, and we're going to put them in an environment, and there's going to be one camera, and it's just going to be these guys beating the shit out of each other.
Kyle, to your point, WCW did this with a graveyard match with Vampiro versus Sting, and it was one camera, and they fought in the graveyard and whatever. He put Sting in a coffin, and then he made his way back to the arena, and then they fought in the arena afterwards. WCW did that right. Now you look at WWE with the Boneyard match, and it was a clusterfuck.
It was a great movie.
Yeah,
With
it was
WWE,
it
wasn't professional wrestling.
It was a B-rated movie. I would.
They went so close. They went to the opposite side because they're like, we got to make it look like the Hardy thing. We got to make it look like the broken gimmick.
Right.
Here's what I want to bring up, because we talked about gimmicks and everything else. And let's be honest, guys. For all intents and purposes, The Undertaker should have been the dumbest fucking gimmick that ever came.
Should have been.
Because think about it. Here you have a guy who is an undead mortician. But the problem...
That's good shit, pal.
I just have to ask, is what I was getting at, is that off the rails, what I was saying?
Nope.
No. But
like, if you want to do something that's silly, or not silly, but just like, okay, these guys are going to...
Outside the ring, outside the norm, kind of a gimmicky match. Shoot the fake shit as real as you can.
Real. Like, don't put music and don't have... I didn't watch this fucking stadium, like, stampede thing. But from what I understand, they took Matt Hardy and they dunked him in some water, and they took him out, and he was a different character. And then they dunked him in, and then he was a different character. Don't do that.
But they've been doing that since TNA, and it worked in TNA.
It didn't really. I mean, okay. Here's what I say. It didn't.
It got him rehired by WWE.
I'm not. Let me rephrase that, Archie. I wasn't trying to shit on what you said.
No, I know that.
It didn't work in
I
that.
gotta pee. I'll be right back.
Okay. It was.
I got a point.
I thought it was funny, but I didn't think it was pro wrestling.
Right.
And that's my point. And it never once moved the dial on TNA's ratings.
Right.
The only people that loved it were the people that were already going to pay attention anyway.
Explain this one to me, Nate.
If you want to talk about funny, like, oh, this shit's funny, and it's like cheeky fun, that goddamn shit with John Cena and Bray Wyatt.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Was fun.
No,
that was funny fucking shit.
That was
funny.
Good shit, pal.
Yeah, that was funny shit.
Again, that was fun. I enjoyed watching it, but it's not pro wrestling. Pro wrestling is dead. Sports entertainment is alive and kicking.
But now, answer me this though, because this is what I found totally stupid about that Stadium Stampede match. Hangman Page on a
For you
horse,
to go about the horse,
chasing after Sammy Guevara, who outran a horse, mind you. I don't know how he outran a horse, but he did.
Because editing is amazing.
Hangman Page is from Virginia. Last I checked, there's not many cowboys in Virginia. Where's this gimmick coming from?
I like him. And here's my
I
thing.
do too, but
Here was my
big.
biggest issue. Here was
The
my
thing
biggest
is,
issue
you
with
saying
Hangman.
that is just a Virginia thing, because there's a lot more areas of Virginia that a lot of people that don't live there realize. Kind of like when, as soon as you say Michigan, 49 other states immediately go Detroit.
Right? No, I get it. My point is for him to be that hardcore of a cowboy all of a sudden.
But you also got to remember, Virginia, there's still a lot of Southern pride type things. There's still a lot of like hardcore tobacco farms, that type of thing. There
So he
is
should
still
pay-
a very
So he should play a
There's a still
stereotypical
very-
drunk cowboy. He should be JBL before.
So
he was JBL.
here was my biggest issue with Paige during that match. It was the same issue I had, if you guys remember earlier when we were talking about Money in the Bank. It was the same issue I had with AJ and Brian.
Right.
So he's him riding the horse in, whatever. It's silly. It's stupid. It is what it is. My biggest issue with anything he did during that match, you're fighting. You're supposed to be in a fucking simulated fight. And you're going to sit down with a guy you supposedly hate and have a
And drink.
beer and then resume your fight. That's not wrestling. That's comedy. That's sports entertainment. That's exactly what I'm saying. You shit the genie
You know
right
what?
out.
Okay,
You know
wait.
what?
Did
Hold
Sammy
on. No,
wait?
wait,
Did
wait,
Sammy
wait, hold
buy
on,
the
hold
beer?
No, it was
It
Jake Hager.
was him and Hager.
Did
With Jack
Hager buy
Swagger.
the beer?
I think it was just there. In fact,
It was just
I
there.
think
Because
the
I
same
mean, in all
bartender-
fairness, if Hager bought the beer, you appreciate and accept a free beer
I
because it's
think
rude.
the same bartender who served Jack Nicholson in The
Touche.
Shining is who gave them the beer at the
I
bar.
hope so.
I just, you know what? After hearing Nate and how passionate he just was about that happening,
Oh, it made me so
Right.
mad.
he's right. Nate, pro wrestling in WWE and in AEW is dead. Pro wrestling around the rest of the world is not quite dead. There is still
You know
alive
what?
and well. So
You know
I
what?
will agree with you, Nate. Pro wrestling in the WWE is dead.
It-
And in AEW.
On a national television level in America. And it is going to take a lot of
Wu-Tang
shit.
Clan. Let me say this before Nate finishes. The debate is done. Okay.
I think it was a good conversation, guys.
I agree.
It was okay. I'm gonna say
Jeremy Cotton is funny.
it was decent. What I'm gonna say is this: that professional wrestling on a mainstream is dead.
Yes. It is full blown entertainment.
AEW and the WWE have fucked up since people got fucking monkeypox or whatever the fuck's going on now.
It started happening long before that, though.
Since Batopia.
But since nobody has been able to go and watch it, and they've been trying to do whatever the fuck they're doing in front of nobody. What they've done since I shouldn't say in front of nobody. What I'm saying is it's
the
almost
last 3 months has been shit. And not
Yeah.
good shit. Shit.
since
Wrestling
the
shits.
since the live crowd has not been allowed to be in front of it.
Mhm.
What they've done, you can no longer put the donkey back in the box. Like they've let the donkey out,
Right.
and it's just running around stupid. It's like Nate, you're gonna love this. It's like the horse is now in the store.
Yes.
You know,
Horse
the
is in the
horse is just
hospital.
running- yeah,
The horse is in the
It's
hospital.
Like, it's just running around now, and it's just clomping around. And it's
Guys,
doing
Best part of the horse.
what he's alluding to is oh shit, what's the fucking comedian's name, Aaron? Quickly.
John Mulaney.
John Mulaney. One of John Mulaney's best routines is he says Donald Trump being elected president. The whole time Donald Trump's president, it's like there's a horse in the hospital. Like it's in the hospital. Every once in a while, it makes a big thing, and you're like, "Oh God, where's the horse?" I don't know. Anyway, it's really funny. Go watch it. Horse in the Hospital. It's really funny. Go ahead, Aaron.
But I'm saying it's a donkey because both people running the company are fucking jackasses. Okay.
One is Vince, and the other's a money mark.
Yeah, and what they've done is they've fucked up everything. And they were just like, look, we can do whatever we want now. It's like, no, you can't do whatever you want now. And Vince finally had his...
Cal, you'll get your closing thing. Don't worry.
Vince finally has been able to say, look, it's sports entertainment now. We're making movies, pal. And Tony Khan has been like, look, what Vince is doing, he's making money, so I'm going to do what he wants to do.
Right.
No, what he's doing is he's going, ooh, Kenny, ooh, Cody, what should we do this week?
Tony Khan is saving money, though.
Because he's making
Tony
money.
Khan is saving money, though, because he's running it at Jaguar Stadium, so he doesn't got to pay any extra cost. And, so he's not making as much, but he's still saving.
What I'm saying is...
What can you say? He's thrifty.
What these guys are doing is promoting wrestling, or they're not even promoting wrestling anymore. They're promoting what they consider wrestling, and it's trash. And nobody's there to tell them no, don't do it, because Vince McMahon could be like, well, everybody seems to like it because they're still watching, pal. And Tony Khan's,
but you're right.
And Tony Khan's like, well, the ratings are staying where they're at. It's like, well, if Vince was losing viewers, he would say his thing and would say, we're not doing what we need to do. And Vince ain't losing. He ain't losing.
Yeah, he is.
Viewers. He's not.
They were at 3.2 and they're at 1.6 now. That's a 1.6 million people left the building.
There's no building.
You understand my point. People are not watching anymore. They stopped. They're not even watching
DVR. My thing is, are you mocking me?
I don't want to miss last call.
I love this show.
But anyway, my thing is, Vince ain't losing viewers. If Vince was losing viewers, he'd be reacting. And Tony Khan, he ain't gaining viewers, but he ain't losing. These fucking billionaires are stuck right where they're at. So they're like, we got this.
These billionaires are having a pissing contest over who could do the craziest shit and get away with it.
And it's all stupid. I don't know.
All right,
now,
Kyle, it's your turn.
Kyle, you go ahead, and then I have something to say.
Kyle, Aaron's finished. Kyle, you finished. Then Archie, then Chris.
All right, here's the biggest thing. I'm going to say right now, the one thing that pro wrestling is lacking more than anything else is character development. Because let's face it, guys. Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant wasn't built on, the athletic competition that was going to be in the ring. Because let's face it, if we were going to go off athletic competition, then we'd all be watching UFC. Pro wrestling is a story, it's a character.
If it was about athletic competition, Brad Regans would have been the biggest star in wrestling history.
Here's the biggest thing. I was talking about Undertaker earlier. We can say the same thing about Goldust. We can say the same thing about Mankind. The problem is that character development needs to happen because, like with Goldust, let's deal with him. He started off as an androgynous character, and then all of a sudden it was, oh, he has a wife that has a daughter, and this is why he does what he does. And then, oh, it's because he has problems with his dad.
Right.
It makes you believe. It makes you relate to that character. We don't have that now. The Undertaker, the same thing. The Undertaker should have been the dumbest fucking character in the history of pro wrestling, but he was smart enough to realize that, you know what, we got to give a human side to this. We need to evolve the character. Now,
I hate to bring a modern expression to an old school theme: adapt, evolve.
He did. He still
now,
is.
Can you imagine if Triple H had stayed as the elitist guy that he was?
Yeah, it would have been what's Paul Levesque doing in TNA Impact.
Exactly. That's the problem now. You don't have character development because let's face it, character development is what makes us love.
Yes.
There's a reason why. And I hate to bring this up, but in the Marvel movies, there's a reason why. By the time you got to Civil War and Captain America fought Iron Man, you believed in it and you bought your fucking ticket. And you didn't when Superman fought Batman because there was no backstory. There was no reason for it. That's the one thing lacking here in pro wrestling. It can work today.
Absolutely.
Today. But the problem is that you have a bunch of would-be writers that think they know what pro wrestling is, think they know what stories are. And
okay, Archie.
My feeling is that once this is all over, once COVID is done, and we go back to whatever normal truly is, fans are going to, of course, come out in droves. There's going to be sellout crowds at every wrestling event possible, whether it be indie or WWE.
And do that. Support wrestlers.
Support wrestling. But once you get fans going into that arena to WWE and AEW and see that it's still the same, because like you said, to your words, Nate, it's now entertainment. It's not wrestling anymore. No fan is going to want to sit there for 45 minutes and look at the screen while the Money in the Bank match is going on. They want to watch it going on in front of them. No fan is going to want to watch a Boneyard match or a fun Firefly Funhouse match happening on tape, because I did not give anywhere from $750 a ticket to $25 for my nosebleed seat to watch on a screen. I came there to watch it live. So once the fans see that the allure is over, are they going to walk out, or are they still going to see it as a family fun time and go back to the arena every time it's there? Also, I think that if the NWA plays its card right and continues to develop and can show any major cable channel, doesn't matter what channel it is, it could be the damn Home Shopping Network. If they get on TV, the NWA will flourish again and grow and become at least the number 2 wrestling company in the world. Why? Because there will still be those hardcore WWE and AEW fans that will watch them. That might give them a small edge, but NWA will continue to grow.
Okay, shut that shit down.
Okay.
All right. My honest feeling is...
Hey, Chris hasn't gotten his final word yet. Hold your horses there, Sparky.
Go.
I feel honestly at this current juncture with the current situation, climate going on in the world, when everything does go back to quote unquote normal, it's not any longer going to be on Khan. It's not going to be on McMahon. It's literally going to be on the indies to bring back wrestling to what it was. Because like how Archie said, fans are going to want to see something happen in front of them, and that's what the indies strive on. It's going to be the indies that are going to have to step up to the plate, bring the fans back, bring the love back, bring the passion back, and then it's going to step back up to the WWE. I don't think the big leagues are going to be able to flourish right out of the gate like we're hoping. I think it's going to be the indies that are going to have to step up and show this is what you love, and this is what you lost.
Definitely.
So again, what I've said last week, I'm going to say again, show your support to your local superstars, show support and love to those indies, because those are the guys that bust their ass. They're the ones that have a real job. They're the ones that don't do this for a living. They do it out of passion. Show them support, show them love, get their merch, support them, help them continue their dream. That way you can continue what you love. Watch what you want, support what you love. Don't be a dick.
All right, I like it. So I will wrap up quickly.
Real quick, before you go,
ahead, Kyle.
I'm sorry. I have to bring this up. We have been talking here, guys, for an hour and a half almost. We've had a heated discussion. We've had people who disagreed and agreed with different opinions. Can you imagine this? 5 guys who are good friends, best friends. They
have great burgers.
We had a great conversation. No, we had a debate. No one got mad at each other. No one screamed at each other because people have different opinions. So knock that shit off. People can have different opinions. That's what makes us great.
Yeah, love what you love. Don't be a dick.
Say he was a dick. No, I'm just kidding.
Except for Aaron. Aaron's a dick. But he's a lovable dick, and I love
he wears that badge proudly. He's like, check out my I'm a dick badge. Look at it.
I love the look on his face right now. I love the look on his face right now. Like,
he's
news to me.
How did this go from a debate to let's pick on Aaron?
Like, oh, Oh, what do you mean I'm a dick? The other night when I left to go to his restroom, he's like, "Oh, it's a fat guy."
You are a fat guy.
I know.
I didn't call you anything.
No, he
You're
didn't,
not.
Kyle.
That guy
No, he didn't,
in
Kyle.
no sleeves.
Kyle, he didn't say that. You know what he said?
What?
Because I had to turn it into a podcast. He said, Kyle weighs a lot. That's what he said.
You.
On his mind,
Yeah,
you
but
you
see,
weigh a lot on
also-
his mind.
Also,
What a
hey,
dick.
you know, I'll say this. Kyle,
Yeah.
you're on the side, okay, and that's fine.
Let's call it what it is.
And-
I'm a fat ass.
You're fat.
Yeah.
Well,
But the
hold
thing
on a
is-
second.
No,
hold on. 'Cause no,
hold
because
on.
everybody thinks your butt you is fat.
ladies, look.
Let
We're
me
all
finish
fat.
my
When we get done, I
statement.
got
Let me
snacks by the bed.
guys.
Come on, let's not.
Let me
not
finish.
sugarcoat stuff.
Let me finish. If we sugarcoated it, you'd probably eat it. Let's
I would. I'd gobble that shit up.
Diabetes.
And
Let's
buy the bread after we
allow me.
Try this last call. I'm punching you both.
I know,
Do you
and that's
real-
what I'm
do you realize
saying.
they put us at the bottom because we're wearing blue club shirts?
I want to go to the bar too, but let me finish the statement.
I'm wearing a
Okay.
Marty shirt.
Let
I
me
love
finish
Marty
the
Marty.
statement. Like right now, if all of us were in the same environment, and like say we were in a, okay,
Hey, I got
I
that.
don't know
You
what
got
Nate's-
that from me.
Ooh, that's cool.
Did you get that from me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you bought that.
I bought
from me
that from
a
you.
month ago. Yeah.
let me finish
Yeah.
my statement.
Okay,
Like,
go ahead,
say-
Skinny. Go ahead,
say-
Skinny.
Say we're all at a bank, okay?
Mhm.
We're all in line at a bank.
I'm taking my money out to go eat.
And a group
Fuck
of
the
people
bank.
come,
Mother
and a
to
group of people come to rob it,
Mhm.
okay? And they rob this bank. But before they can get out, somebody hits the button and it's like bang, 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 and the fucking authorities show up, and somebody's gonna take the people robbing the bank are gonna take hostages. I'm probably gonna get taken.
Yes, you are.
Like Archie's not gonna get taken.
No,
Chris ain't gonna get taken, and Kyle ain't gonna get taken. I'm gonna get taken because I'm a little dude, and they're gonna be like, we can maneuver this guy wherever
Right.
we need to.
He'll fit
But
in the
they're
trunk.
like-
Take that
They're
one.
like Kyle, Chris, and Archie. They can just
right.
hunker
We've been-
down, and they ain't gonna.
This has
fuck
been a
you.
plan our whole life. We
Fuck
don't
you!
want
I'm in the
to
break
have
room eating the fucking Chex Mix out of the vending machine.
y'all big fat guys, you got it going on. Like
Thank
you
you.
ain't getting
I am
taken.
not fat. I am horizontally in 4K.
And I'm fluffy.
You
You're
wide
fluff daddy, Archie.
you wide motherfuckers, you ain't getting taken. I'm gonna get taken.
We've been planning for this our whole life. We said when we were little,
I
we
know.
don't want to be taken.
We're horizontally enhanced.
You guys are just like, we're gonna be cherubs our entire life.
I ain't wearing a fucking diaper. Fuck you.
hey, hey, I was once skinny, and it was the worst 6 months of my life because I was unhealthy.
But you cherubs.
I thought he was gonna say I was
taken
skinny
nowhere.
once, but it was the worst 6 months of my life because I was still in my mother's gut.
No, no,
So
I was healthy and it was not fun. Healthy people suck. They're in bad moods. They
I
have
was
bad
skinny
moods,
once.
The
It was bad
attitudes.
because bad
the
things
hostess-
caused weight loss.
The hostess got the mostest, don't they, Archie?
Yes.
that's what I'm saying.
Wait,
you-
hostess
you-
cupcakes? What?
Hey, I've choked on lettuce before. I have never choked on a cupcake.
Hold on.
All
Hold on.
right.
Line of the week.
I got
Line of the
something
week.
to show you. Dude,
What do you have?
Archie, you'll love this.
Okay.
Fucking look
Ooh.
at this.
That's the Bret Hart Ultimate Edition.
Oh my god, look at this. This is
Kyle?
amazing. And
Kyle,
He
You're being
looks
left
like.
at home.
Hold on. Put him back
Yeah,
up
but
there, Kyle.
Big bug eyes. What was
Kyle.
Oh, he's got a DHBK. Oh,
Kyle.
man.
No, put him. You have him positioned like he's like. What are you talking
What are
about?
What? What are you talking about? What are you
he's about to
doing?
break in a Bollywood dance.
Look at this. Look at this.
No, it looks nothing like him.
God. I mean, this God, Mattel.
I think when they did the scans for Shawn Michaels every day, they brought him in. They were like, "Okay, Shawn, sit still," and Shawn went, "Okay." And his head was like, there's not one figure where it looks like Shawn Michaels.
No, but goddamn, these guys.
So before I do the sign off here,
I gotta pick a winner.
We
Don't
had
I?
to.
No,
No,
I gave Nate the win. I told Nate he wins. I sided with Nate.
No, Aaron, you don't have to pick a winner. Archie already said I win. And
I conceded.
you'll take 20 minutes to pick a winner, and Chris wants to go to last call. So now listen.
I'm gonna pick 1 second to win a winner.
Okay, go ahead.
1 second to win.
Winner, chicken dinner. Guess who won this debate?
Nate.
Guess who won it?
Chris.
Nate.
No.
The fans.
Everybody shut up. Guess who won?
Who won? You?
I did.
Of course.
Bruce Beefcake.
Go
fucking
figure. Go, bring that Bret Hart back.
Bring Bret Hart back.
Bring the Bret Hart back up. Go figure.
Nate, who's known me longer than anybody, was like, who? And Archie's like, Aaron's going to pick himself.
Of course. That's why I love you. That's why I love you.
Who do you beat for the win?
Listen, David Gold earlier, I guess because we yammer on, put in my SpongeBob voice 3 hours
later.
And David Gold also...
Jesus Christ, Nate. Ramble.
David Gold also said, and all love,
Wrap it up, old guy.
Hashtag booty beef. Aaron, you might like that. And Ray Stevens, the streak, said, good show, fellas. All right. So that being said, I just want to make one quick announcement, then I'm going to let these guys go. I want to thank you guys for being here. Another great discussion. I love this group of fellas. That's why they're my crew in the
He
Weekend
won't do
Wrestle
it.
podcast.
Come drink a beer with us.
And no. And
No.
Gonna be a team player there, Chief.
Why the hell is he gonna go out and drink a beer?
The other thing I want to announce is, and I think the guys thought I was joking about this, and I wasn't. We are, because I think wrestling's dead. We talk about the modern product on Sunday nights. We are changing the name of the Sunday night show, but it will still be there. It is now Sports Entertainment Sunday, so that's what we're going to call it.
I hate that fucking name. Wow.
I wanted it to be Sunday Night Meat.
No, I you know what?
I wanted to be at the bar 20 minutes ago. We don't get what we want.
Sports Entertainment
Aaron.
Sunday.
Sunday Night Meat.
We'll come up with something better in the future, but that's what I got right now. But I'm not going to call it We Can't Wrestle Live anymore because this ain't wrestling anymore.
But we can't wrestle, though. We still can't wrestle.
I'm sorry.
No, we can't.
Here's the thing, guys. How about you
I
guys?
also said hot fudge.
Now,
But Zecca made me a cool logo. Archie, I have to use it.
Oh, God.
All you fans, everybody watching right now, send us your ideas for the names for Sunday night show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now we analyze. That way we can have NWA, since
I
that's
put
actually
a poll.
wrestling.
I put a fucking poll up, and it was like Sunday Night Meat.
None of those are what I want to call this show.
I don't.
It's not always about you, old guy.
It actually is because I pay the bills. If you're going to live in my house.
This is true. You better cut that hair.
I just did.
Get some sleeves, Kyle, if you're going to live under my roof.
I jeopardize being caught in the right to get my hair cut. Thank you.
He can't get sleeves because then I have to redo the custom.
Yeah.
So wait,
And I don't want to do that.
Where's my custom figure? No, hold up. Archie, where's my custom figure?
I found the head, but I can't do glasses, so it's just going to be you without glasses.
I just got my beard fixed.
Okay. Yours, I'm thinking I have to modify, and please don't get mad, Chris. I may be having to modify an earthquake head because of the beard.
I'm thinking you could modify an anvil head because I've got some anvil nicely shaped beard done.
What head was mine?
You know why I have a custom?
Huh?
And you don't,
Christian.
Aaron? You know why I have a custom and you don't?
Christian?
I'm marketable.
Christian, yeah.
I'm marketable.
Same hairdo, same beard.
I'm marketable, boy. Yeah.
I use John Cena.
You're market, all right.
Hold on, guys. Shut up for a minute.
Yes,
Apparently,
Christian.
my head is Christian.
For now,
I'm
it's
going
the best
to the bar.
one.
I'm just going to drive by and
Either
see,
that,
so
or
I'll see y'all later.
I could modify a Dean Ambrose.
All
right,
right, Christian. At least he has talent.
Right.
Say goodbye, crew.
Good night, everybody.
Goodbye,
Join us
crew.
tomorrow for the virtual show.
Goodbye, crew. Yes.
Good day, everybody.
Check out Hacksaw tomorrow night in the virtual asylum. Check out Hacksaw Jim Duggan. We will see you then.
Good night,
House.
everybody.
We'll see you then,
Suck ass,
House.
bitches.
Well, there you have it, everybody. Episode 99 in the books of the We Can't Wrestle podcast. The conversation. I don't know if you agree with me, if you agree with Archie, if you agree with any of our points. Everybody, of course, these are the greatest guys in the world for me to have a conversation with about this. My buddies at the We Can't Wrestle podcast, and it never gets disrespectful. There's no hate. There's no, there's fucking enough of that in the world right now. But that being said, that is our conversation on whether or not pro wrestling is dead. I think it is. Sports entertainment, again, is still out there. It's still doing its thing. It's still chugging along. But I do want to say thank you to everybody for supporting us through 99 episodes. Episode 100 is going to be huge. We have a lot planned for the show. It's going to be, I'm assuming, a very long episode of the show. So I'm looking forward to recording that over the next couple of weeks, get it all put together, and present it to you. We Can't Wrestle episode 100 coming up. And don't forget to, if you're not already, be a part of our Facebook group, the We Can't Wrestle Podcast Facebook group, and subscribe to the We Can't Wrestle YouTube channel. More things coming this year on YouTube, and there will be a new website for the show as well this year. So looking forward to a lot more. Hopefully the back half of 2020 is better than the first half has been. But anyway, I'm rambling. Let me sign off here, and we will see you folks at episode 100. Have a great one, wrestling fans.